Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again to look at some more exciting guitar releases in the lead up towards NAMM. This time we are going to look at Caparison guitars. For those unfamiliar, Caparison guitars, fantastic guitars out of Japan. There's one in the back of this video actually, right there. That's a Michael Romeo signature. I've always been a big Caparison guitars fan, growing up listening to bands like Symphony X, obviously, Killswitch Engage, Arch Enemy. Chris Amott was one of my favourite players growing up. So yeah, Caparison, always being exposed to that as a brand, always wanted one, and yeah, very cool. So let's take a look at what Caparison are offering this year, and as the title of the video would suggest, Caparison's main offering this year seems to be on signature guitars. So if we take a look through their entire line, there's not actually a whole lot of guitars here, really, in the grand scheme of things. There's what, 3, 7, 9, 12... 16 guitars. They make 16 guitars and that's it. The thing that's fascinating about Caparison is when you look at their website, they actually track their discontinued models, and for some reason that's 404ing now. There we go. So for some reason that was 404ing, but yeah, Caparison do detail the discontinued models as well, which I find very interesting. You can look through and see that in 2017 they discontinued the Angelus series, some of the Brockens and the Joel Strosel signature, and you know, lots of guitars, and it really does go back all the way to, yeah, about 2012. Not about 2012, actually 2012. So, yeah, there are a lot of guitars that I kind of look at the Caparison range and I go, well, it would be nice if they did this, but this is what we have. And to be fair, everything they are offering is a cool guitar. You actually, in my opinion, don't need to offer a shit ton of new instruments at NAMM for me to go, you're doing well, because when you take into account the good instruments that a company already makes, they can introduce 1 or 2 new things and still do very well because their old stuff is great, it's classic. But Caparison have knocked it out of the park this year in terms of their new signature models. So the first one, the one that they've been pushing the hardest, would be the Matthias Eklund Applehorn 8EF. So this is the 8-string version of Matthias's guitar, and I say version of, actually this is the only version of Matthias's guitar that's available now. Of course, he was well known back in the day for playing the Applehorn, the yellow guitar with the apple kind of cut out of the, or inlaid into the body. Yeah, so he's moved on to a signature 8-string, and this is definitely an interesting instrument. As you can see from this picture up here, it has the True Temperament fret system, which is a fascinating system if you're into that kind of thing. I've actually ordered a guitar with True Temperament frets, and it's now the long wait for one. Yeah, but when you see Matthias demonstrate this guitar, it comes across as very, very cool. He demonstrates the True Temperament system and how that helps him keep everything perfectly in tune. Yeah, what more can I say? Now, this guitar, to a degree, was available last year. Last year they had the same basic guitar but with a rosewood fretboard. Obviously, with the CITES issues and rosewood, they've kind of moved away from that now. Companies are more skeptical, and EF, I'm assuming, stands for ebony fingerboard. I mean, I didn't actually sit and read this. I could have read this, couldn't I? Yeah, so in essence, you know, a great looking guitar if you're into the 8-string type thing. It's a little bit plain for my personal taste. You know, that wouldn't be, you know, too out of place on a Meshuggah gig, which, you know, not a bad thing. We do like some of that stuff, but yeah, it's a bit plain for my look. But to be fair, all of Caparison's models this year are a bit plain. So I do think it is a shame that they're not offering the original Applehorn anymore. I think that's a huge shame actually, and it would add some much needed colour to the signature guitar section. So Michael Romeo has also got another signature guitar, and it looks exactly the same as the previous signature model. It's not strictly true. When you look through, it has what they're calling the Dellinger Prominence body. I'm finding it very difficult to really see what the Prominence body is. Prominence talks about being an arch top, like an arch top Dellinger, but from the pictures I can't really see any arching. I could be completely crazy, maybe I've missed the point, but when I go under products and Dellinger and where's my Prominence? So this Prominence series, you know, is there an arching top there? The Dellinger Prominence, the first arch top take on the world-renowned Caparison Dellinger guitar. I struggle to see any serious arching on the top there. And if it is the case, it is so minimal that, you know, who would know? So yeah, up until this year, Michael Romeo just had a signature Dellinger, as you can see behind me. He now has the same thing, but with this arched top. How do I feel about this? Well, it's Michael Romeo, you know? He's the greatest metal guitar player on the planet, in my opinion. He's my favourite metal guitarist, let's put it that way. Less arguments to be had there. A pretty, in the grand scheme of things, a plain designed guitar. But to be fair, that's kind of always been his thing, and I liked that. People always ridiculed me for this. But I love the white body and the black headstock, that non-matching look. To me, that's super cool. So instantly Michael Romeo as well. So yeah, a very plain looking, to the point guitar. No fret markers, nothing fancy on the body. It's, well, I'm actually not entirely sure. I assume, based on reading it, that it has that kind of glossy finish to it. Any info on that? The reason I say this is just because my one is one of the original runs, which had a matted finish to it. These are glossier now. Yeah, fine. I don't really consider that anything new. The two more exciting guitars are the Killswitch Engage, Joel Strozel and Adam Dukovitz signatures. These look cool, in particular Adam's model. We look at Joel's signature and yep, we've got a Dellinger, scratch plate on it, fixed bridge, black binding with black inlays, you know. It looks cool. If you're into that sort of thing, and they do it in black, if you're into that sort of thing, why not? You know, that's a cool looking guitar. And you know what? Credit where credit is due. Unlike with the Matthias and the Michael Romeo signatures, no in-your-face branding on there. Says Caparison, says Dellinger on the headstock, I believe. Yeah, says Dellinger on the headstock. So no garish signature on the guitar's front. There is a signature on there, of course. It's a signature model, but it's nice and out of the way. It's on the back. You know, no one has to know. You could play a guitar like this and just consider it to be a unbranded kind of your guitar type thing, rather than hero worship. Not really the case with the Matthias, for example. These come stock with the Killswitch Engage Fishman Fluence pickups. Fishman are doing really well at the moment in terms of their pickups. Lots of artists jumping ship to go and play with Fishman because they seem to be doing super kind of incredibly high fidelity, almost like active in nature pickups, but passive in nature. And of course, active stuff as well. You know, incredible pickups by all accounts. Maybe not my taste, but yeah. All right, so let's jump on to my favourite. My pick of the year from Caparison Guitars, and it's the Adam Dukovitz signature. So Adam, Killswitch Engage, rhythm, lead, backup vocals. This is, as the name would suggest, the metal machine, the TAT Special Effects metal machine. It doesn't even need Adam's name in it, because when you look at it, how simple and to the point is that? How wonderfully to the point is that guitar? There's one pickup, one volume knob, and that's it. That's all you need if you're going to play, you know, thrash metal rhythm stuff, or metalcore, or whatever you want to call it. That, to me, is a super, super cool guitar. And again, it's not branded with their ghastly signature anywhere. It's on the back, fine. Now, this is a TAT model. TAT models, TAT meaning through and through, are neck-through construction. So if you're into neck-through, very cool. Take a look at that. That is a nice paint job. That has the look. To me, that is about as cool as it gets for metal rhythm guitars. That is super cool. An interesting thing that I've noticed on Caparison's website under tuning, they always list them backwards. DAFCGC. No, CGCFAD. Just a little point for you guys. So yeah, can't really complain. The only issue that I kind of take with it is the frets are actually small. As much fret life as possible is what I go for, so the bigger the better, within reason. Yeah, one Fishman Fluence pickup, can't really complain. To me, that is a super cool guitar, and if you're into Killswitch Engage or not, to me that doesn't really matter. When you look at this model, it doesn't scream Killswitch Engage. So good for them. As far as I can see, there's nothing else that really jumps out as being, you know, what I'm after. I find the Brocken series just a bit bare bones. I'm a big fan of the regular Dellinger guitar. Maybe that's from looking at Michael Romeo too much, but the Dellinger's been, you know, on the scene for a very long time now. Not as crazy on the Horus body shape. I like the Tat models, but they're not the Dellinger body. And I actually do quite like the Orbit. I think actually, you know, credit where credit is due. It's hard to do a V that looks good, that looks like it's bringing something to the equation, and I feel that this actually does bring something to the equation. That it looks quite balanced with the way the headstock flicks up a little bit, and you have this extended cutaway section for getting higher up on the neck. So there we go. Oh, and they've got that beautiful kind of paint job that goes through. Anyway, there we go. Caparison's lineup for 2018. Heavy on the signature models, moving away from Rosewood for obvious reasons. What do you think, though? Any guitars in there that you think look cool? Do you think that they could have offered something else? I would say that it would be nice to see more signature models. But then you actually look through Caparison's artist list, and they don't have any more artists that I kind of look at and go, oh, that guy needs a signature model, or that girl needs a signature model. Some good artists, but no one that really jumps out. So Caparison, maybe there's room for expansion there. Go and look for some artists that love your instruments. I love your instruments, very cool. But I don't want a signature model, and I don't think anybody wants my signature model anyway, so glad we're agreed on that. So if you have enjoyed this video, what I would suggest is that you can become like these awesome people over here that support me over on patreon.com. I've tiered these up now because you can get on this list for as little as $10, but there are some people that really throw down big bucks every month, and I really appreciate that. It is a huge help to keep this channel going. So all of these guys are helping this channel, and there's plenty of other guys that also help this channel but don't want to be on this list. So thanks so much, guys. You can be like these chaps. The $20 guys get to make video requests. The $50 guys get to do all of that, plus they get private lessons. And yeah, these people are absolutely awesome. So thank you very much for the support, people. If you would like to check us out on Patreon and get access to a private patron-only Facebook group, you can click this button up here. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking this button down here, and you'll find 2 more of my videos here and here. Thanks so much for the support, guys. I'll chat to you in the comments box, and I will see you soon.